Welcome to Twin Whistles. I'm your host, Joe Chapin. Today we'll be talking about the Detroit Lions because the Detroit Lions beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, a 20-20 final. And a lot of people were asking my reaction to it. So I'm going to give you my reaction to it because I thought I gave a little bit of a post because I wasn't in the mood to do a video. Today I'm doing a video and I'm going to give you the context. I want to clear something up first, though, because I feel like this is coming out in some of the national media. I heard Mike DeRico say it yesterday. I wasn't happy about it. But when you say that Chris Jones and Travis Kelce not playing is an asterisk next to the game, an asterisk, I want to ask you a quick question. Just a quick question. If the Lions go through an injury riddled, there's a part in the schedule where they go through an injury riddled part of the schedule, right? They're missing St. Brown, they're missing Jameson Williams, maybe they miss Dave Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs because in an NFL season, anything can happen. If the Lions lose, can I say that there is an asterisk next to those games? No, because that is the NFL. That is the NFL. You know, the best teams in the NFL, the best teams have depth. They have players, they have talent. They can get, they can take injuries, they can take, certain things happening to them and they can move forward. When you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, you can move forward. Now, you might be limited in some spots, but at home, you should be good. Patrick Mahomes is just a really great quarterback, and he's going to elevate your team to new levels. When I look at this game against the Kansas City Chiefs, okay, I've always told you that I will never give you some hot take. I'll never give you a hot take. I think hot takes are reserved for Stephen A. Smith. I think hot takes are reserved for people who have a problem being intellectual with their conversation about sports. So when I tell you this, what I'm about to tell you, you're going to say, that's very hot takey. It's not. It's not. Now, I know people are skeptical of the Lions. Obviously, you have a track record of 60 plus years where you could be skeptical of the Detroit Lions. That's fine. I don't care. But when I look at this Detroit Lions team, I see a team that can contend for a Super Bowl this year. And you go, wait, it's a hot take. No, it's not. Because what we saw yesterday with the Detroit Lions, they did not play their best game in the first half. They played a lot better defensively in the second half. Credit to Aaron Glenn. He did a very, very good job of, making the second half adjustments, making the adjustments to win the ball game. But when we look at it, they didn't have a great offensive game plan yesterday. They did not have a great offensive game yesterday. And this whole thing about the Detroit Lions being on the road and their offense not being as good, that's something we need to look at moving forward. But they went in there, they gritted it out, they made the right plays, they made the plays to win, and that's all you can ask. That's all you can ask. Now you're asking, why do I think the Detroit Lions are a Super Bowl contender? That's probably what you're asking. And I'm going to tell you that I did not think of this lightly. Not in the slightest bit, okay? I think when you look at the Detroit Lions, you look at their team, you look at the way that they're built from the offensive line and defensive line standpoint. I think Aiden Hutchinson is taking the next step up. I think that the offensive line that they have is a top 5 offensive line unit. We could all agree to that. I think the 2 running backs that you got in the offseason, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, was a total upgrade over Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. You might be telling me, well, Jamal Williams broke touchdown record, but most of those touchdowns are like a yard out. Okay, I could have got, some guy from the bar to run a yard out. Maybe that's maybe taking a little bit hot takey. I take that back. But when I talk about the Detroit Lions being a Super Bowl contender, I don't take it lightly. Like, I don't take it lightly at all. Because when I look at this Detroit Lions team, I look at that secondary that they rehauled in the offseason with getting Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, getting Brian Branch, getting Cameron Sutton. Emmanuel Mosley didn't play last night, but he's probably going to play next week, maybe. He's going to have a pretty good time day, a couple of days off. But I look at this Detroit team, and I'm just like, man, This is a very, very good team. This is a team that can go out there and beat anyone on their schedule. Okay, you play Kansas City in Mahomes. I don't care who Mahomes has on the field, Travis Kelce or not. Patrick Mahomes is a definite. He's the best player in the league by far. 2 years in a row, he's been voted number one player in the league. 2 years in a row. He's an elite level player. He's going to make players better. Now, Darius Toney didn't help him out. I get that. I understand that. But the Detroit Lions made plays. That pick six, if they dropped that, boom. There was a pick six there was an interception that Detroit should have got. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson should have got, dropped. That wasn't on anybody but Patrick Mahomes. Detroit didn't make that play. There were certain plays in the game where Detroit did not make the necessary play to win that drive, score those points. They didn't make there was a lot of things I didn't like in that game, and I'll go through it in another video. But like I'm saying, I think Detroit is a good football team, period. End of story. I think a lot of people are kind of looking at it a wrong way. They're looking at it as like, this is the Detroit Lions. Fine. That's perfectly fine. But this Detroit Lions team is very, very good. And I like the way that they're built. I think that they can compete with anybody. Obviously, they've competed with the Kansas City Chiefs, and they won in Arrowhead. You go look at the teams that have won in Arrowhead over the last 5 years. There's not very many of them, okay? I don't care how you win. It's just a W. It's a W. There's no saying you're sorry for a win at Arrowhead. There's absolutely no reason to say you're sorry for a win. I know there's people that wanted to play the Kansas City Chiefs at their best, especially Detroit fans. But look, over the course of a season, you're going to play teams that are going to be injury riddled. The Lions might be injury riddled at some point, and no one's going to make excuses for them. I'm not going to make excuses for them, okay? So don't make excuses for other team, because the reality of the situation is you are expected to win the football game. You are expected to go out there and make the plays necessary to win the football game. What the Detroit Lions did yesterday was not only a distinction on how the season's going to go, but how well they are coached, how well they are. They're just fighters. They are going in there and they're making the plays necessary to win. It might not be pretty all the time, but they're going to win the ball game. Yesterday was a prime example. They were not good on offense, so everyone can agree with that. But they went in there, they grinded it out. They held the Chiefs to 20 points. They held them to 2 field goals in the second half. Like, this is a Detroit Lions team that went to Arrowhead and held a great Kansas City offense. I don't care if Travis Kelce is there or not, at 20 points. That is something that you could put your hat on, because no matter how you slice it, you're going to look back at this victory and you're going to go back and say, that was a great victory, but that was just an inkling of what this team could be. An inkling. I don't look at this team as I don't look at them as, they should have won by more. Obviously, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce should have played. I don't look at that. But what I look at is just look at the talent on that team. Look at the top 5 offensive line. Look at the overhauled secondary. Look at the defensive line that is a constant. Just, there's so many guys coming there. Josh Pascal, I got to spotlight him probably in another video. He played out of his mind. That third down stop that he made with that reverse, that was just brilliant. But it was a brilliant game plan by Aaron Glenn. So credit to Aaron Glenn. The Detroit Lions offense did just enough to win the football game, and that's where you give them the credit. It wasn't the Lions' best football game. No one's gonna disagree with that. But the Detroit Lions, they went in there, they did what they had to do to win. That's all that you can expect. And do I see this team being a Super Bowl contending team? Absolutely. If you're going to name me 4 teams in the NFC who could potentially make a Super Bowl, it's going to be the Eagles, 49ers, Lions, and then there's a drop-off from there. There's a complete drop-off. I don't know who you would go with the 4th. Maybe the Cowboys, but can you really trust the Cowboys? It's going to be interesting, but the Detroit Lions have a team that can contend in the NFC, and that's no doubt. And they're a different team than they've been in years past. Obviously, if you followed my page, Detroit Lions News, you would know how I felt the last couple of years. Obviously, I got the record right last year, the year before. I think they're going 12-5 this year. I think this was a very, very good win for the Detroit Lions because no matter how you slice it, you're going to go through a season and no one's going to make excuses for you. And don't make excuses for Kansas City Chiefs because that's just the NFL and that is how football works. I'm Joe Chappa. Between us was Detroit. I will see you in the next video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I appreciate it below. I'm also on Twitter at Detroit Joe Chap, so you can follow me, or Facebook at Joseph P. Chap on Facebook. So follow me there as well, and I'll have great sports content going forward. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.